Zuberi Malona built his technology business from nothing and rose to the top of the city with speed and pride. He trusted numbers more than people and believed money proved who mattered. In his world, success spoke loudly while hardship deserved silence. Every day he walked through his shining office tower with cold confidence, never greeting guards or cleaners, certain they were invisible parts of his rise. One morning, as employees rushed through the glass entrance, an elderly woman stood near the doorway. Her clothes were old, her shoes dusty, and her back slightly bent with age. Security stopped her before she could step inside, whispering that she did not belong there. Workers slowed down to stare, some smiling, others uncomfortable, as she calmly waited without protest. Zuberi arrived and noticed the small crowd. Annoyed, he demanded to know why business was being delayed. When told about the woman, he laughed openly and made sharp comments about people who came to places they could never afford. His words echoed across the lobby and staff froze, unsure how to react. The woman lifted her eyes and looked at him without fear or shame. She answered him softly, with a steady voice that carried peace instead of anger. Her calm reply unsettled Zuberi more than shouting ever could. She spoke about borrowed strength and how pride often blinds those who climb too fast. One short sentence left the room silent, heavy with meaning, though no one fully understood it at that moment. Hours later, Zuberi was urgently called to a meeting with directors and lawyers. Confused and irritated, he entered the boardroom only to find documents spread across the table. To his shock, the same woman from the lobby walked in, now confident and respected. She was introduced as the silent force behind the company's earliest funding, the true owner whose name was hidden by choice. Years earlier, when Zuberi was desperate and ignored by banks, she had believed in his idea and protected it through a legal agreement he barely remembered. Everything he owned stood on her decision. The weight of his past actions crushed him as he realized how wrong he had been. The woman looked at him with neither anger nor joy. She offered him one chance to change, reminding him that power without respect always collapses. His future rested on a choice between losing everything or learning humility at last. An elderly woman, Makosi Ndlatsi, dressed in worn clothes, is blocked from entering Zuberi's office building. She stands quietly near the glass doors while guards tell her this place is not for people like her. Workers pass by, some pretending not to see her, others watching with curiosity. She does not argue or beg. Her face shows patience, as if she has waited longer than anyone there can imagine. Soon, Zuberi Malona arrives, surrounded by assistants and praise. He notices the delay and demands an explanation. When he hears about the woman, he laughs and makes cruel remarks, speaking loudly so everyone can hear. His words turn her into a joke in front of the staff. The lobby fills with awkward silence, but no one dares to speak against him. Makosi looks at Zuberi calmly. There is no anger in her eyes, only quiet strength. She replies in a gentle voice, saying a few words that sound simple but carry deep meaning. Her tone confuses him. Instead of feeling proud, Zuberi feels uneasy, though he does not understand why. The workers feel it too, like the air has suddenly changed. Later that day, Zuberi is urgently called into a meeting with the company's top leaders. He expects praise or profit news, but instead finds tension waiting for him. Lawyers are present. Papers cover the table. Then to his shock, Makosi walks in, no longer ignored. Everyone treats her with respect. Zuberi's confidence begins to crack. The truth slowly comes out. Many years ago, when Zuberi had nothing but an idea, no bank trusted him. Makosi did. She gave the first money that saved his dream, but chose to stay hidden. Legal documents reveal that the empire he controls was built on her support. Without her, there would be no success, no building, no power. Zuberi feels ashamed. He remembers how easily he insulted her hours earlier. He understands that his rise was never only his own work. It was supported by kindness he never thanked. His belief that money defines worth suddenly feels empty. Makosi speaks again, softly but firmly. She tells him that respect matters more than wealth. She gives him a final choice. He can continue with pride and lose everything, or change his heart and keep what he built. The future of his life now depends on humility, not power. Zuberi mocks Makosi in front of staff, assuming she is begging or lost. His voice is loud and sharp, meant to impress those standing nearby. He jokes about how people like her always wander into places they do not understand. Laughter follows from a few workers, while others lower their eyes in shame. The lobby becomes tense, yet no one dares to correct him. Makosi does not respond the way everyone expects. She does not shout or cry. She stands still, holding her small bag, and listens until he finishes speaking. Then she raises her head and looks straight at him. Her face is calm, her breathing steady. When she speaks, her voice is soft, but every word feels heavy. She talks about respect, about borrowed strength, and about how pride often hides weakness. Her words are simple, yet they cut deeper than anger ever could. The room falls silent. Zuberi feels strange, though he hides it behind a forced smile. Something about her confidence shakes him. He turns away, acting as if the moment means nothing, and walks toward his office. Still, her voice stays in his mind, repeating itself without sound. Staff members whisper among themselves, unsure why their powerful leader suddenly looks uneasy. Only hours later, Zuberi is called into an urgent meeting. The message says it cannot wait. Inside the boardroom, faces are serious, and legal files are spread across the table. Before he can ask questions, the door opens. Makosi enters, no longer ignored. This time everyone stands. Respect fills the room like air. Zuberi's heart pounds as documents are explained. Years ago, when he was desperate and rejected everywhere, one person believed in him. That person was Makosi. Her money saved his idea, and her signature protected the company from collapse. Hidden agreements reveal she holds true control over everything he built. Shame washes over him. He remembers his laughter, his cruel words, and his belief that wealth made him superior. Now he understands that his success rested on kindness, not arrogance. The power he trusted was never fully his. Makosi looks at him with quiet strength. She tells him life always tests character when pride grows too fast. She offers one final decision. He can cling to ego and lose all he gained, or learn humility and keep his future. In that moment, Zuberi realizes respect is the real power he never had. Instead of anger, Makosi speaks gently. Her words confuse and unsettle him. She does not raise her voice or show hurt. Her tone is slow and calm, like someone who has nothing to prove. People around expect her to defend herself, yet she chooses peace. This unexpected response makes everyone pause. The sharp mood in the lobby softens, and all eyes stay on her. She tells Zuberi that life has strange ways of returning what people give to others. Her message sounds simple, almost like advice from a grandmother. Still, it feels powerful. Zuberi smiles at first, pretending not to care, but something inside him shifts. He feels uncomfortable, though he cannot explain why. Her confidence does not match her appearance, and that disturbs him. The silence grows heavy. Staff members stop moving. Even the guards seem unsure what to do next. Makosi continues speaking, reminding him that success often stands on unseen support. Her words are clear and slow, easy to understand, yet they reach deep. Zuberi feels exposed, as if she can see parts of his past he keeps hidden. He turns away and walks toward his office, acting strong, but her voice follows him like an echo. Throughout the day he cannot focus. Meetings feel longer. Praise feels empty. Her calm presence stays in his thoughts, making him restless. For the first time in years, doubt enters his confident mind. Suddenly, an urgent call interrupts his schedule. He is told to attend an emergency gathering with board members and lawyers. Confused, he enters the room and senses tension immediately. Serious faces greet him. Documents cover the table. Before anyone speaks, the door opens again. Makosi walks in. This time, she is welcomed with respect. Chairs are offered. Silence returns. Zuberi feels his chest tighten. The truth begins to unfold slowly. Long ago, when he was struggling and rejected everywhere, someone trusted him. That person was her. She gave the first support that saved his dream and protected it quietly. Legal papers reveal her role and authority. Everything Zuberi built stands on her decision. Shame fills him. He remembers his laughter, his careless words, and his belief that power made him important. Now he understands how wrong he was. Makosi looks at him with steady eyes. She explains that kindness creates real strength. She gives him a choice that will shape his future. In that moment, Zubri realizes that gentle words can shake even the strongest pride. Makosi says one sentence that silences the room. Power borrowed without gratitude always returns with interest. The words are quiet, yet they spread across the lobby like a sudden shadow. Conversations stop, smiles fade, even footsteps freeze. No one expected such depth from a woman moments ago treated as nothing. Her calm presence turns attention inward, forcing listeners to reflect on their own actions. Zubri feels his chest tighten. At first he tries to laugh it off, but the sound never comes. Her message feels personal, as if aimed directly at him. He senses something slipping from his control. Though nothing visible has changed, the glass walls, the shining floor, the watching staff all feel different now, as if the space itself is judging him. Makosi remains still, her hands folded, her eyes steady. She does not explain her words. She does not need to. The meaning hangs heavy, leaving room for understanding to grow on its own. People around begin to feel uneasy. Some lower their heads. Others glance at Zubri, wondering what he will do next. Trying to regain authority, Zubri turns away and orders everyone back to work. His tone is firm, but it lacks strength. He walks toward his office, yet the sentence follows him like a shadow. During meetings, his focus breaks. Numbers blur. Praise from managers sounds empty. That one line keeps returning, knocking gently but endlessly at his thoughts. Later, an unexpected message reaches him. A serious meeting is called with no explanation. When he enters the room, tension fills the air. Legal experts sit quietly. Papers are stacked neatly. Before questions can be asked, the door opens again. Makosi steps inside. This time no one blocks her path. Chairs are pulled out. Respect replaces judgment. Zubri's heart races as he listens to the truth unfold. Long ago, when he was struggling and ignored by everyone, she believed in his idea. Her support protected his dream and shaped its future, all without seeking attention. Documents confirm her authority. The success he claimed as his own stands on her trust. Shame washes over him. He remembers his mockery, his pride, his belief that money alone gave value. Now he understands how fragile that belief was. Makosi looks at him gently, not to punish, but to teach. She explains that strength built without thankfulness always demands payment. She offers him a choice that will define his future. In that moment, Zubri realizes silence can be louder than power. That same day, everything begins to change for Zubri. While sitting confidently in his office, his assistant rushes in with a tense face and says the board wants him immediately. No reason is given. No delay is allowed. This surprises him, because such meetings are never called without warning. Still, he straightens his jacket and walks out, believing he is in control. As he moves through the hallway, whispers follow him. Staff members avoid eye contact. The strong energy he usually carries feels weaker. Inside the boardroom, the mood is heavy. Senior members sit quietly, their faces serious. Legal advisors are present, which makes Zubri uneasy. Papers are neatly arranged on the table, waiting like silent witnesses. He asks what is going on, but no one answers right away. The silence feels loud. Then the door opens again. The same elderly woman from the lobby walks in calmly. This time, no one questions her presence. Instead, chairs are pulled back for her. Respect fills the room. Zubri's confidence begins to crack. His mind races as memories rush back. He remembers the morning laughter, the cruel words, the way he dismissed her. Now she stands before him, calm and powerful, as if time itself bends in her favor. He feels small for the first time in years. The truth unfolds slowly. Long ago, when his dreams were fragile and banks rejected him, someone stepped forward. That person believed when no one else did. She protected his idea and guided it quietly from the shadows. Contracts and records confirm it all. Every major decision traces back to her support. Zubri's throat tightens. The success he proudly claimed was never built alone. It stood on trust he forgot and kindness he ignored. The room feels smaller as understanding settles in. His past arrogance returns to haunt him, louder than any accusation. Makosi looks at him, not with anger, but with calm certainty. She explains that life always balances itself. What is taken without respect is never truly owned. Her words are simple, yet they carry weight. She offers him a choice that will shape his future. He can continue ruling with pride and watch everything fall away, or learn humility and rebuild his character. In that moment, Zuberi realizes power is temporary, but respect decides what remains. Makosi is revealed as the founding investor and legal owner behind Zuberi's empire. The room freezes as the truth is spoken aloud. Papers are passed around the table, and every signature points back to her. The powerful man who once controlled everything now struggles to breathe. His hands shake as he reads documents he barely remembers signing long ago. Board members explain how the company truly began. When Zuberi was young, broke, and ignored, his idea was close to dying. He had talent but no support. While banks shut their doors, one person listened carefully. Makosi believed in his vision when it was only words and hope. She provided the first money that turned a dream into action, asking for nothing but fairness. She chose to stay hidden, allowing Zuberi to grow freely. She trusted him to lead with honesty. Legal structures were created quietly to protect the business from failure. Over time, as success grew, her name remained unseen. While Zuberi stood in the spotlight, he slowly forgot the hands that lifted him up. As the explanation continues, shame fills Zuberi's face. He remembers the laughter, the mocking tone, the cruel judgment from earlier that day. Now he understands why her calm never broke. She was never weak. She was patient. The power he believed he owned was never fully his. The boardroom feels heavy. Every person present watches Zuberi closely. His pride collapses under the weight of truth. The empire he built his identity on rests on trust he failed to honor. For the first time, money feels meaningless to him. Makosi speaks softly, not to embarrass him, but to remind him. She explains that real strength comes from character, not control. She never wanted praise or attention. She wanted respect and responsibility. Her silence was a gift, not weakness. Zuberi lowers his head. His voice fails him. Years of confidence disappear in seconds. He realizes how easily power can blind a person. The workers he ignored, the woman he insulted, the past he erased, all return at once. Makosi looks at him with steady eyes. She tells him that success is a loan from life, not ownership. How one treats others decides how long it lasts. She gives him a choice that cannot be avoided. In that moment, Zuberi understands the truth clearly. His empire did not fall because of failure. It shook because of arrogance. What happens next depends on whether he chooses humility or loss. Years ago, she funded Zuberi when no bank trusted him, under a hidden agreement. At that time, Zuberi was struggling and close to giving up. He had ideas but no support. Every office he entered rejected him. Doors closed one after another, and hope slowly faded. People told him his dream was too big and impossible. Makosi was different. She listened while others laughed. She watched his passion, not his clothes or background. She believed effort mattered more than status. Quietly, she offered help when he had nothing left. Her support came without noise or pride. She did not ask for praise or control. She only asked for honesty and respect. They signed papers that protected the future. Those documents stayed hidden, kept safe for the right time. Zuberi was too focused on survival to question them deeply. He accepted the help, promised fairness, and moved forward. Slowly, the company began to grow. Small wins turned into big success. Money followed. Attention followed. Power followed. As years passed, Zuberi changed. Success hardened his heart. He forgot the nights of hunger and fear. He stopped remembering the woman who believed in him when no one else did. He began to judge people by appearance and wealth, thinking power was something he owned forever. Makosi watched from a distance. She never interfered. She allowed him to lead freely, hoping he would stay true to his values. Her silence was not weakness. It was patience. She trusted that truth would arrive when it was needed most. That day finally came. The moment he laughed at her, the balance shifted. The agreement made long ago woke up. What was borrowed without respect demanded attention. The past returned not with anger, but with clarity. In the boardroom, the truth hit Zuberi hard. He realized his empire rested on a promise he ignored. Every success traced back to one decision made in desperation. Without her support, nothing would exist. The power he enjoyed was never fully his. Shame filled him. He remembered his early fear, his empty pockets, his shaking hands. He saw how far he had fallen from the man he once was. Pride blinded him, but truth opened his eyes. Makosi spoke calmly, reminding him that help given in silence is still help. She explained that respect keeps success alive. Without it, everything fades. Now Zuberi stands at a crossroad. The past has caught up with him. What happens next depends on whether he honors the agreement with humility or loses everything he once believed was his. Zuberi realizes his success stood on kindness he never acknowledged. As the boardroom quiets, he looks at Makosi and the truth hits him like a storm. Every deal he celebrated, every award he received, every building he opened, all were possible because someone had believed in him when no one else did. He had praised his own cleverness, but the foundation beneath his empire had always been her generosity and faith. He remembers the early days, when doors slammed in his face and hope was a faint light. He remembers sleepless nights, the fear of failure, and the endless rejections. And now he sees clearly that without her, nothing would have grown. Nothing would have survived. His pride turns into shame. The laughter, the arrogance, and the scorn he showed toward others in his path come rushing back. He recalls how he mocked Makosi in the lobby, treating her as though she were nothing. Every insult feels heavier than the gold he has earned. The board members watch him quietly, sensing the change. Zuberi feels small, stripped of the power he thought defined him. He understands that wealth alone cannot command respect or loyalty. True influence comes from relationships, trust, and the quiet acts of people who lift others when no one sees. Every employee, every partner, every investor who stood behind him had contributed in ways he overlooked, but the first and most important hand belonged to her. Makosi does not yell, does not demand punishment. She simply waits, her calm presence teaching a lesson more powerful than any rebuke. She explains that kindness is a silent currency. It builds futures, while arrogance destroys them. Zuberi finally listens. He feels the weight of all the years he wasted chasing control and ignoring the real support behind him. It is humbling. It is painful. But it is necessary. He looks around and sees the truth reflected in the faces of those who have watched quietly all these years. His empire, his name, his accomplishments. None of it is complete without gratitude and respect. The reality is undeniable. Success taken for granted will always demand a reckoning. He understands now that every act of support, every hidden sacrifice, was a gift he had failed to value. In that moment, Zuberi feels a choice pressing on him. He can cling to pride and risk losing everything, or he can finally accept humility and gratitude, rebuild his character, and honor the kindness that created the life he now leads. The lesson is clear, and he cannot ignore it. Makosi gives Zuberi one final choice: lose everything, or relearn humility. Her voice is calm but firm, and the weight of her words fills the room. She does not threaten or yell, but every syllable carries power. Zuberi feels as if the ground has shifted beneath him. For the first time, he realizes that his decisions no longer control the outcome. His attitude does. The empire he built, the recognition he chased, the life he thought he owned, all depend on how he responds now. He looks around the boardroom and sees the faces of his employees, his directors, and lawyers. Each of them watches quietly, waiting for him to act. No one judges him openly, but their silence is louder than any criticism. He remembers how he mocked Makosi earlier, laughed at her appearance, and dismissed her presence. The thought of losing everything he worked so hard for fills him with panic. Yet at the same time, he feels a spark of clarity. Makosi continues speaking, explaining that true power comes from respect, gratitude, and honesty. Wealth and titles alone are empty without them. She reminds him that life always balances itself. What is taken or earned without recognition of others' efforts eventually demands repayment. This is not punishment. It is the natural order. Zuberi feels the truth in her words, more deeply than any contract or rule could teach him. He reflects on his journey. Every milestone, every success, every celebration. How many times did he forget those who helped him? How many moments did he ignore kindness, assuming the world existed only to serve him? The empire he prided himself on is built on foundations he took for granted. The thought is humbling, and shame washes over him. Zuberi's mind races, weighing his choices. He can cling to pride, continue ignoring the lessons, and watch everything collapse. Or he can swallow his arrogance, accept humility, and start treating people with the respect he always overlooked. The decision feels heavier than any business deal he ever made. Finally, he lifts his head and meets Makosi's steady gaze. In that moment, he understands that humility is not weakness, but strength. It is the key to keeping what he built and growing even further. His heartbeat slows, and a sense of resolve fills him. He nods slightly, ready to change, ready to honor the support that brought him this far. The choice is clear, and it will define his future forever. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more amazing African tales. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new story. Your support helps us bring more inspiring stories every week.